Supercars, mate. Roll into that one.
Bloody oath. Supercars, hey?
Could I have a cold one? It seems like a good transition for another drink.
You can. Would you like a Reckless Brewing Apex Hunter ginger beer?
I'd love one. Thanks, sir. Sound check.
Sound check.
Athlete.
Oh no! He's in the fence! The man's in the fence! They're all in the fence! Oh, unbelievable!
Let's tuck in. So, Gold Coast, first off, you want to talk about the event? You want to go into stats and stuff first? And
What do you mean stats?
as in, like,
I think the
results?
fans know it was Kai Allen's first time at the Gold Coast. If that was the stat, if that was the stat you were going to throw out there first.
They also know that we're soft at Apex Hunters thanks to Peter Addiston.
Yeah, apparently. I'll tell you what, though, just quickly, if you do have Pete's, anyone in Pete's family, Pete Addison's family, if you could contact one of his loved ones and just remove his keyboard, because I think Pete needs some assistance with that, because on the weekend, either he just found AI or he's just employed some young bloke because he was obsessed with that as well. But someone needs to help Pete. Just check on him. Just do a welfare check.
Welfare is all right.
Yeah,
He nearly died from FOMO, I reckon, from not being there.
I think so. If you live nearby Pete Addison, someone do a welfare check, because I think his fingertips are bleeding. He had a busy weekend on the keyboard.
Let's just tuck straight into results.
I reckon go through top 10 shootout, I think. Just quickly, who the standouts were in that.
Ryan Wood, stand out on the Saturday, for sure, without a doubt. Brock Feeney was second. That's not unusual. He's had an amazing, what's his average for quali, mate? It's like 2 point something over the season, I think.
I think it's nearly 1
Or
point.
1.9 rate. It's crazy.
Yep.
Matthew Payne was third on Saturday. Chazzy was fourth. Golding was fifth, so that was a nice turn of speed for Premier there. Cam Waters sixth, Courtney seventh. So good to see JC in the top 10 on both days for his last Gold Coast event out of BRT. That's a strong result for those guys for quality speed. Dave Reynolds was eighth, always strong there. Anton was ninth. So again, Team 18 was strong with 2 cars in the 10. It's a great job. And then Will Brown was 10th, but he had a shunt in quali. Was that the...
Yeah, that was in the shootout. That was big. I when we're doing those talking head videos on our Instagram, I was still a little I felt like a bit cringy at the start, but I did do one of him, and I was saying, I didn't post it because I just felt...
You actually text me, you're like, I've just posted my first one. It's a little bit cringy. And I looked at it, I was like, yeah, it is.
I feel cringe as fuck is what I think I said to you.
Yeah.
But I do. I actually enjoy them. It just feels awkward putting yourself out there doing something new. So, but hopefully the fans, hopefully everyone watching does enjoy those little ones. But I did do one of Will crashing in the shootout, because one thing I wanted to say is, we as drivers have said at the Gold Coast, I've raced there a number of times, and we've always said the curbs are self-penalising. If you get that wrong and you take the piss in the wrong spot, you end up in the wall. Mm-hmm. And I think credit to Supercars for turning them off and seeing what happens. And we saw Will wreck. He got it wrong across the curb, took too much, shunted. A little bit further down the track, I was disappointed, though, equally, that they seem to have left them on for the left-handers, I was told. It was only the right-handers they turned them off for, which seems very stupid. Because when you get all the imagery going global and we're talking about how amazing it looks, and then 10 laps in, we're going black and white flag, exceeding track limits, car 26, and you're like, how the fuck is 24 cars getting filmed and sent globally around the world on social media curb hopping, and someone's getting a penalty for curb strikes? Like, if you're going to take the piss, let them take the piss. I think over-policing the left-handers and not the right-handers is the dumbest thing ever.
I completely agree. I put in my notes for later in, but we can talk about it now. Same thing, mate. Like, the cars and the driver can dictate how much they take. Because as you say, if you hit it wrong or you take too much, you're either going to break your car or you're going to land wrong and hit the fence.
Yep.
So let them work it out. They're the pros.
Yeah.
Sunday, top 10 shootout, we had Brock Feeney on pole. Thomas Randall did a great job. He was second. Chaz Mostert third. Cam Waters fourth. So Tickford had 2 in the top 4. That's a strong result. James Courtney again in there with 5th. Andre Heimgartner, they had some speed. They tuned that thing up. So he was 6th. Aaron Cameron, first time in a shootout for Aaron. That was a great job, and I think you touched on it earlier, mate. He hadn't been there since the Diesel Super Ute.
Yeah, this was actually pre-pod. We were chatting about this, and I felt bad for him in a way, because we know how much Scafie and Crompo just drilled into us that it was Kai's first time there. And this is what happens when they jump on the bandwagon of one driver and they want to pump him up, and I think Kai's doing an amazing job, but they neglect everyone else. You know, they forget that there's other people in the race as well that have stories to tell. And I did Rihanna did an interview with Aaron, and he said that it's actually been 6 years since I was here last time, and the last time I was here, he's only been there once, and it was in a diesel Super Ute.
So you may as well drive a taxi around the joint, be just as accurate.
Exactly. So shout out Aaron Cameron, fantastic job to make it in the shootout. You actually did out-qualify in the Kai in the main qualifying, and then you snuck in just ahead of him as well. Actually, it was 4/10 ahead of him in the top 10 shootout as well. So nothing taking away from Kai, but I think you got your dues across the weekend. There's a lot of credit sent your way, and you did do a mega job. But I wanted to shout out Aaron because he just got missed, and I think he did a fantastic job. And arguably, would say right now, the Penrite cars have a big advantage over a BRT car right now.
100%.
Maybe not next year when things go better for BRT, but right now, Kai's in a much better car than Aaron Cameron, I would say. And Aaron Cameron's out qualifying his teammate. Kai's not. So, and Kai did acknowledge it in one of the pieces they did with him. He knows qualifying something he needs to work on. But for some reason, commentators didn't really mention Aaron at all. But there's no hype around him. So,
well, Aaron had to come to me because he actually said, "Oh, maybe you can say I remembered," because he goes, "Oh, it's my first year." He goes, "Oh, but I haven't done it before, so I can't have remembered it. But maybe I've learned how to do it or something. You can give me a shout out." So there you go, mate. You got your shout out. But well done. That was much deserved. Kai Allen was 8th. Matty Payne was 9th. He got a curb hop during the shootout, which was bullshit. We'll talk about that. And Richie Stanaway was 10th.
Yeah, Richie, he got a curb strike. Yeah. That was a big one. He locked the front and had to bail out of the first chicane. I was really disappointed, actually, because I was loading up a video. I was on one at that moment because I think one thing that's... And James Golding had a bad quality in that one, and Richie, I thought, did a really good job. He made the top 10 shootout, and I was excited to see how he'd go in the shootout. Obviously made the mistake, which can happen, but one thing that I noticed, I went back on their socials, they announced their new drivers and never said thank you to Richie. I didn't know if they had said thank you to James Golding, but James has obviously announced that he's going somewhere else. So the future is not as doom and gloom for him as it is for Richie. So right now, you need to get around your driver, make him feel good, and a simple thank you, Richie, for what you've done prior to announcing your new drivers would be, I think, the bare minimum, because I do think sponsors and everyone, supporters, they look at that stuff and they think, do I really want to align myself with someone that treats people like that? And most sponsors would say no. So I'm pretty critical on it. I think that the treatment that Premier Racing has given Richie in this whole thing is pretty disgraceful. I do think he deserved at least just to appreciate the effort you put in, because he has tried.
Maybe they'll do something at Adelaide for him.
Well, it's a bit late. Wouldn't you do it before you announce it? They're just yes, we've got new drivers. Can't wait for Ojeda and Declan to come in. This is amazing. The future's bright, and they start selling it to sponsors. While in the background, you've got a guy who's trying to do his best to finish the year and have a career. I've been there before, and I do know that sponsors and everyone, they look at that shit and they go, wow, if that's how you treat one of your key staff members, is that an environment? And that needs to change next year. And I think it will. I think there's going to be a massive change there.
Yep.
But that's the type of shit I'm like, I went back and I looked and I was like, I can't find it. I can't find something just saying thanks.
Yeah, okay.
And when he gets out after qualifying, you could see in his body language is just like, well, his crew get around him because I'm sure his mechanics he's close with, but I did think that was just a bit shit.
Yep.
Simple gesture means a lot to us drivers and mechanics and everyone, mate.
Yes.
Doesn't take much, just a simple thank you.
No.
It's like Shannon leaving Erebus. Managing director leaves and they literally buried it under the carpet. It was like it doesn't happen. You're like, hang on, there's someone that's given
a whole life,
10 years to you, and Betty and Barry are like, oh no, there's some shit there we don't want to acknowledge. You just push it out the door and start selling the new dream. Anyway, I was on one in that qualifying. Couldn't tell.
Supercar Saturday results. Talk us through it, Scotty.
Mate, Saturday was insane from Chaz. I thought his speed was... talk about who remembered.
Fucking ridiculous.
That was insane. That was like Bathurst spec from when he won it that year. 23?
With Lee, when they were just on another level.
And it was just, mate, they were lights out. There was no one... I remember when he was running around in third. I was watching it with Shannon. My partner said, fuck me, Chaz, he's like, when you can follow as close as he was, I was like, he is on. And he cleared Matty Payne, I think it was, for second, and just drove straight up to 2021. Prezzo said it was, for that Bathurst one. And he drove straight up to Brock, and I thought, fuck, Brock's just a shot duck here. There's nothing you can do. When a car's that fast, they're finishing tight out of every corner, they got you.
It blew me away watching, while we're talking about Chaz, I think he won by about 8 seconds. It blew me away at just the rate, every lap it was awesome to watch, but he was just so committed, and I was like, this guy's millimetres off writing this thing off every lap. And he had an 8-second lead. And I'm like, 2 laps to go, 8-second lead. Back her off, son.
Yeah, it was like PB.
And it was like his last lap to the beach game was almost the hardest he went. I was like, holy shit. And it was just, I mean, you just appreciate it when you know someone has a car under them that's responding the way that they like it.
Yeah.
And they just feel so there's nothing better than watching a driver that's confident just to absolutely rag a car that hard, especially around joint like that. So I thoroughly enjoyed watching him throughout that whole race.
Yeah.
And he was just on another level, really. That package. And I didn't put it in the notes, but I did think about it. Like, it's interesting that he went away last week and did some GT racing with Will Power and Kenny Habul at Indy. And I just, coincidence, theories, whatever, but I'm like, sometimes a change of scenery, you find your love again, right?
It's the reset you might need, yeah.
It's like you going to Triple Eight as a Cowie now. You reckon you're probably driving better than you ever have because you're just that fresh atmosphere. You've gone and you're like, we've got results now, you're good. And I can't help but think that, that's played a big part in Chaz finding his love going fast again. And, he's always been an amazing driver. But, holy shit, that on Saturday was just impressive to watch.
It was. And I don't think they were overly fast at Bathurst. That's why I say who remembered is like, man, I felt like it kind of come out of nowhere. It's the right time. Like he was, I think, sixth in the championship maybe coming into that event. So you talk finals format, and that is the perfect time to find your form. And I think Sandown will be okay for him. Adelaide will be very good for him. So, you're looking at that. He's a big threat now. And he did look comfortable. That was the scary part.
Funny thing too, in the press conference, they asked him, do you think the new final system is going to suit him as a chance of winning his first championship? He hasn't won a championship before as a main game. And it was interesting because I think he agreed because he sort of threw it to, it's a shame for Brock almost that he's been so consistent that this is the year that...
Dado said that.
Yeah, but I think Chaz acknowledged that and said, so he kind of half acknowledged that they haven't been consistent enough and that this is actually their best chance. And not whether it be he hasn't been consistent enough, but the team or whatever as a package. So that was interesting that he kind of half acknowledged that without saying it, but you could see he was like, well, this is my best shot.
Does it? And that's the thing for a team like, I say Walkinshaw, because I got some notes on their mechanical issues they're having at the moment, but a team like Walkinshaw, this finals format is what gives them their best opportunity because they're not competitive every week. They're probably the worst for turning up and then forgetting the next week.
Yeah.
So
This
and
Tickford's the same,
Yeah.
So I'd put them in the same wheelhouse. Like they go out some rounds that dominate.
Yeah.
Go next track and they're not so. So
does it put... Here's what I'm just thinking of. Does it put more emphasis on a team's championship now than the Drivers' Championship? And does the Drivers' Championship have an asterisk next to it from now on? And I think the finals format's great. I'm not saying it's a negative.
Yeah.
But you're looking at drivers now, like Brody, they might feel like, oh, fuck, that was our chance. But it's like, okay, you were only in that because of this finals format. You were like fifth coming into the round, which in a typical season... you'd probably struggle to get to first.
2-3 rounds out, you
kind of know you're not going to win it, but you feel like, like Woody, he was ninth coming in. He will feel not hard done by, but he had bad luck, really, and shit went wrong, and he'll be like, the team will be like, damn, that was our chance. But it wasn't. Every week is your chance to build a championship, and right now, the only reason those people feel like they had a shot was because of this format. It gives you an opportunity to feel like, if I have one good weekend, because that's all it takes. You don't have to be good anymore. It's like if you're in the top 10, which those guys, it should be a bare minimum they're in the 10, those teams. And then you're like, I just need one good weekend and I can make it through to the next one. Then I need one. So it's really, you need to be good for 2 weekends. And then the rest you can be kind of at a Walkinshaw, like, doesn't have to be spectacular, just consistent year will keep you in the 10, you'd think.
Yeah, most of the championship year, you just got to roll in the 10 somewhere and then turn it on for a couple of wins and...
So do you think, sorry, I went on, but do you think the championship for the teams is more important now? Because that is a championship still.
Like as in for the team members or just the team as a whole?
Well, the only championship now that rewards consistency across the year is the teams.
Yeah. I don't think it puts any more importance on it and takes any more importance away from the Drivers' Championship. It's just different now. I think, sure, for the teams... it will emphasise that they will want to win both.
Yep.
Where I think in the past, it was probably more on the teams that if they won a Drivers' Championship, not teams, they're probably still stoked. I guess that's just my interpretation. I could be completely wrong, depending on the team, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think it really changes it much. But obviously, as a form guide, yeah, you're going to look to the team's champion, who's done the best job as a team,
Yeah.
and who's the most consistent. So the champion's not necessarily going to be that. Where in the past, they kind of lined up.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Very similar, wasn't it?
yeah, usually pretty similar. You know, you would have whoever won the championship, generally their teammate would be probably top 4 or 5 in the championship too.
Yep.
So that's my theory on it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've kind of segued a little bit there, but we'll just run over the
results
for Saturday very quickly. So it was Chaz, obviously we said he dominated that one. Brock finished surprisingly quite a long way behind. I think Gap was, like you said, 8 seconds in the end. Then it was Kyle and P3, which
great job.
Another superstar performance from that race team to get the strategy right again.
Mm-hmm. Hadn't been there.
Yeah, actually hadn't been to Gold Coast. But again, like we said before in the podcast before this one, Penrite have been doing a great job at delivering when like they just get something from nothing all the time. And not to say that Kai he was in the 10.
Yeah, he's doing well. Yeah.
But, and Team 18 did it too. Credit to them. They just couldn't quite make it on fuel. But they did with Kai. So I think the team there, they deserve a pat on the back. I've been critical of their pit stops, but bloody hell, their strategy is they're always thinking outside the box and they're getting something out of it. So Kai finished 3rd. Cam Waters finished 4th. Will Brown 5th, which was a decent recovery. I think he was like 18th in qualifying. JC 6th, which is a big result.
He was 10th in that, but he dropped down.
That's the next day.
Yeah, he got sent up the
18th.
escape road though. So he basically dropped to
last. He did.
To last and then came back. So yeah, he did essentially have to come from the back, but he actually started the race 10th. So it only shows he's up 5 posies, but it was like up 15 or something.
Yep. And then JC 6th, Andre Heimgartner 7th. So he had a good weekend, 7th and 3rd for the weekend. Anton De Pasquale was P8, P9 Randall, and P10 Matty Payne.
Yeah.
A little Randall, I think, is amazing qualifying. I think he's at the moment just needs to work on his racing. We've said that a few times, like how he hasn't won a race yet or isn't a consistent podium getter, I think would be really starting to frustrate him because he qualifies very well.
Yeah, and on the Sunday, that was one thing I put in my notes. We'll just jump to Sunday, then we can go back to the other stuff, mate. Was I loved the way that Kai battled for it, and I think that's what I really like about the final system. You see who really wants it, who's willing to throw punches for it. I thought Kai did an amazing job on Sunday for that.
Yep.
And I thought Thomas maybe lacked a little bit of that. Thomas started up the front on Sunday, and he had opportunities early in the race where he was close to Brock, where he probably could have tried to make something happen down at turn 4.
Yep.
And try a bump and run. And if you have to redress it.
Stick it down there and have a go.
Try some shit. Because if he had won that, he had car speed, and if he'd got clear air, there's a fair chance he wins that race.
100%, yeah.
Because of the speed he had. But I just feel like he just lacked a little bit of that dog in him or that mongrel.
Yeah, well, there's still that little bit of him that even in the post-race when he did his interview for socials, he said that, we ran second up to the first stop, which was great. And then it's kind of like, well, everything changed after that, so it just didn't go to plan. But it's kind of, even to yourself, whether you recognise it or not, I think you're using the pit stop to justify the outcome at the end. Like, well, we were second when everything was just even from start to the first stint, we were second. But also don't be happy with just running second. Like we said this at Adelaide, I think last year. I'm like, he ran 3rd and was like, oh, that was the defence of my life. I'm like, well, why were you in the mirrors so much? You gave up like 4 seconds to the car in front because you're defending Davo. Look forward, you might have finished 2nd as opposed to coming 3rd. So it's like, definitely the pressure is on because you're in a car that's won a lot of races now with Cam at the wheel. You are out qualifying at times, so you got the pace to do it.
Yeah, he's definitely.
You just probably need to maybe shift the mentality a bit, and there probably needs to be some pressure applied. At the moment, I think being a really good number 2, it's not a good feeling as an individual, but also that will get old. Like eventually everyone's going to be like, man, you've been in this category for a long time, haven't won a race, you're also not in a shit box. So you should be, like in that instance off the start, he should have been, like you said, challenging for the lead at the start, not happy to come in second at the first stop.
Yeah, to me, that's what the final should create. And we touched on the NASCAR earlier in the show. William Byron did that.
Yeah.
Cleared the brake, ran it up into the side of Blaney to get the job done.
Yep.
Because he wants it. Kai Allen did it to Thomas.
100%.
Had to go, shipped him, waited, let him redress, and then went again, but was throwing punches left, right and centre because he wanted to get in. He knew he had to beat him.
Yeah.
And wanted to. I just think so. I definitely think there, and on the radio, like Thomas was blowing up in the car and he was pretty hot under the collar, but then it doesn't translate into his aggression with how he treats the others.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, give it back.
Yeah, like if you're blowing up, fucking go out and bleed off the brake and
Yep.
like give him a bump and don't send people, but like at least try and rough him up a bit and try and create opportunities. And I just didn't see that. And I was hoping for it. And I thought a couple of times into 4, he sort of had a bit of a look and I thought, yes, he's actually going to do it. And he never did. And
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that's stopping him from being a force to be reckoned with, because he's, as we said, his speed is there.
Yeah.
The car's quick, but
When as a teammate, it does feel like Cam's kind of just walking all over him now. And it's just try and take the lead. You've out-qualified him. You're actually faster. Like, fight like fuck, you know. And Cam, he just always gets the one up on him. And it would be killing me as hey, I'm not doing it. I'm just saying I'd like to see, because I think he's fast enough.
yeah, and that's where, I'm
Just
coming from
a
the
bit
same
more.
spot. It would be awesome for everyone if we saw that.
Yep.
Because, everything's there. It's just maybe lacking a little bit of aggression.
By lap 20, there was 2 safety cars that actually weren't for racing.
Oh, the sign coming down.
I was kind of like, the first one was the sign.
Mm.
No, the first one was the tyre bundle, wasn't it? No, the first one was the sign, then it was the tyre bundle on the restart.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like that was a little bit embarrassing for the category. Like, you've got,
Who cable timed that sign up, first of all?
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, surely that type of stuff is pretty important to have right. I would have thought, like, at this level, that thing coming down. I did laugh because there was people standing behind it. I was like, if I was one of them and I had a pair of sidecars in my pocket, you probably would just be like, hey, let's just get rid of this thing, because they did pull it down.
Like
and they just opened up a viewing platform.
You never know. Maybe someone did something stupid and, like, somehow it got cut or whatever, but it's not a great look.
Definitely not a great look. And then the tyre bundle just didn't last. Like, that was so early in the race to have that thing blow apart like it did. So surely there's something better we can do than the old.
Yeah, I think so.
Even someone messaged me actually and said, what about the tyre bundles on the outside of the track while we're on this for the safety cars being track issues? Surely there's a higher end solution than a bunch of cheap old tyres and a conveyor belt.
You're talking about the exits,
whether it's Tech Pro barriers or whatever we might be able to do that. Yeah, I don't know, that protect the people on the other side of the fence, but also us drivers, rather than having those tyre bundles now. Because that's a piece of technology that's been the same forever. There has to have been some kind of evolution there, you would think, for a street circuit.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, the NASCAR safer barriers that they use are, I guess, a solution. I don't know what the expense is and stuff. And
I don't know that for head-on either, because I thought that too. I was actually just thinking now, for head-on incidents, they probably don't absorb enough. Like, a tyre bundle does give you a lot of room to...
a lot of absorption of the energy. And
Yeah.
And I guess, the defining factor behind that is then the concrete barriers, which if you hit them hard enough, they move anyway.
Yep.
But, I'm not sure if it needs to be looked at or changed or there's a better option. I'm not sure. I would imagine if there was a better option that maybe it would have happened, but maybe not. Maybe it's something that's been overlooked.
I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group, we've got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Quadlock, fantastic supporter of our podcast as well. We use their products every single day on the pod using their desk mounts here. Also, we've used them to create the additional content like we did the Adelaide Motorsport Festival using their action camera mounts. So whether it's mounts, phone cases, they've got you covered. Quadlockcase.net. Now, the website for all of these brands that support us will be in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. So Saturday, Woody had the refueling dramas. What were your thoughts on that, mate? That's pretty unfortunate.
My thoughts were shithouse. And I just feel for Ryan because Perth, he won a race and then he was leading another one, had something go wrong. He was a real chance, I thought, in that Saturday race.
Yeah.
Had a mechanical part go wrong. So I think it was a fitting on the fuel system that failed or came loose or whatever happened there. So, I just really felt for the guy, to be honest.
Yeah. No, it's frustrating for him. Because it's difficult. Like, yes, they deserve to be, but equally they don't as a team with the mechanicals. Like, you had that one, the upright failing. There weren't many that had that fail, whether it's a lifing issue or something the mechanics didn't pick up on. There's still I don't call that just bad luck. There's a mechanical issue there. I think that's a problem. Bathurst, they had the double failure. Luckily, they got him back out, but there's another 2 failures. And then this is their 4th that I'm aware of for the season. So that team owes Woody some beers, for one, because that's tough, man. And I actually felt for Woody too, because not that I think he thought of it, but listening to Prezzo, does Scott call anything bad luck? I do. I think
only when it happens to him.
I think there is bad luck when shit that is out of your control. Like I had 11 mechanical failures at Team 18 last year, and I'm one, I do believe in bad luck, but that was like the same problem kept happening. And eventually I was like, this is not bad luck anymore. Like, we have to fix these fucking problems. Like, it's not. And then you see more often than not, like Penrite and T8, they're not having many mechanical failures because they're just doing a better job as a team. Tickford as well, don't. Walkinshaw have a lot of mechanical issues at the moment. Last year, like Chaz said in the post-race at the press conference, he said, last year didn't go to plan because of something out of our control. It's not out of your control. You had an electrical drama, which is an issue that someone probably should have picked up on.
Yeah.
If it's electrical or mechanical, whatever, they're problems. It's not like, lightning struck a tree and it fell down in front of you. That's bad luck. And I'm very superstitious, so clearly I believe in luck. But when there's issues that happen a lot to one team, you start to think, fuck, that team is letting Woody down. And in the press conference, I felt like they said, what do you have to do to pick Woody back up? Ryan's like, we'll get around him and support him. I'm like, you don't need to. The guy's up. Just stop fucking having his car fail on him.
He's doing his bit.
He's doing his bit. You don't even need to put your arm around him. The guy's qualified on pole and then had another mechanical issue. He was leading a race at Perth, had a mechanical issue. He probably would have won Bathurst, had a mechanical issue. I'm like, why has no one once said to Ryan, what are you guys going to do to prevent these happening when you've now only got one car because of the mechanical issues? You've only now, I get celebrating a back-to-back win, but the environment I'm in now, if they had a back-to-back win with a mechanical failure on the other side and one car was knocked out, that debrief would go for 8 hours. It'd be a fucking disaster. You'd be like, what happened? How is this now? 4 times this year we've had mechanical issues. And now we've lost one car in the championship playoffs because of it. So I'd be stressed and going, shit, we need to make sure that at least for Chaz we have everything, every component, every wiring loom I'd be changing.
All fresh, yeah.
Brand new, everything.
Yeah.
Because you're heading into 2 rounds. If you have another mechanical failure, you shouldn't be putting your arm around Chaz. You should be just apologising. So, yeah.
I agree.
Not luck, in my opinion. No, I felt devastated for him. But then...
He did say to me on Sunday before the race, he goes, no doubt I'll be the who forgot. I'm like, why? You didn't do anything wrong, mate.
Yeah, no. I think Woody's doing a great job. I think across the year, of course, all of us are going to be like, I could have done this different, or, like Perth equally on the Sunday when he could have finished 5th, he crashed out with Golding. That would have got him, he wouldn't have had to worry so much about Bathurst then. But, those things happen. That's part of his season. And he's still only, 2nd season in?
Yes. So he's still classified as a rookie.
Yeah. And I think the hardest thing when I look at the finals format is you might feel like, and I say this because we've got a lot of comments about this, like, Woody should be in, Brody's not in it, this is a shambles, the winner's going to be a joke. But Woody was 9th heading in, which means he was never going to be in contention in a regular format. So he was just given an opportunity to feel like he had a chance again. Yeah. And they blew it again with another mechanical issue.
Results
for Sunday.
Yep. Chaz, I'm still on Sunday. Chaz was like a double one, that's right. Chaz won Sunday, so he did sweep the weekend 4 wins. Brock Feeney was 2nd. They had a really good battle. Brock, that was, again, that's what you want to see. Like, I know they were both guaranteed moving on to the next round, so there wasn't much to lose. But kudos to Brock for still throwing punches when he could have just easily tucked him behind and gone, I'm going to Sandown anyway. Yeah. I love that shit. And I think that's, that's what the finals is, producing a little bit of that. And I think that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
I think that's what every driver should always be fighting to pass the car in front of them, regardless of whether it's 12th, 8th, 1st.
What do you think? Because Tom Ransom's actually putting here as well. Do you guys think that Chaz was pushing the limits, moving under brakes? I want to ask, because JC got taken out at the end by Anton. Anton felt very much hard done by from the officials. Yeah. I have a take on it, but what do you think that the difference in those 2 incidents, because Anton said the whole reason he took out JC was because he moved under brakes. I would say Chaz moved a little bit more under brakes, but he didn't get taken out. and you've got one car behind him that was fully locked up. So when you look at the two incidents, like what's your take on the Anton one versus JC? How do you feel about that? Do you think it was JC's fault or Anton's?
No, I don't think it was JC's because we saw it across the weekend multiple times. Again, we saw it with Chaz and Brock, very similar situation. No one got taken out. Squeezed harder, I think.
Yep.
Chaz squeezed Brock harder. And then we also saw it with Matty Payne passing, was it Cam Waters?
Yeah, unbelievable move. And actually, tagged her even, but swerved out. And yep.
Similar thing again. So we saw it multiple times on the weekend. Two of them pulled it off without binning the other one. The other one didn't. So, no, I don't think it was necessarily JC's fault. I think Anton just jagged a wheel and ran into the back of him and had room to go more left if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And he made a decision not to. And whether he punched him, I don't know. But to me, it was just like you hear it in Brock. Brock was able to, he was hard up against the fence. He was able to modulate it so it didn't lock a wheel constantly. He was on the edge of the braking the whole way in to not punt Chaz. Could have easily locked up and punted Chaz. He just controlled the situation better. Same with Matty Payne. I just think Anton just locked the wheels and, if you lock them, you can't stop. You're going to run into the bloke in front of you and just punted James out of the way.
Well, yeah. See, I looked at like Anton never left a black line, whereas Brock left two. Yeah. Two fronts were both locked all the way to the wall. Like, I disagree. He was actually fully locked up. But he left two massive lines. Yeah. And I'm like, well, he's avoided still taking out because he knew he had more in the brake pedal and up against the wall and did everything he could not to fence him. But Chaz moved a lot. JC, I don't even think really moved. He started to blend towards the apex.
Yeah.
Anton, through there, if you lock that late, you actually have a choice to get out of it. You can just move to the inside and then you would have had a little overlap and you would have bumped through there. I agree with JC. I think Anton, no one's ever argued over his one lap speed, but I do think his racecraft lets him down. I think that was, I'm sorry, I disagree with him saying he was ripped off by the officials. Mate, I think that's.
Yeah, I think
it's 100% on you.
Yeah, I don't think he got hard done.
He deserved a penalty.
Yeah.
And Scafey, the lap. This is the only thing where I was like, oh, poor Anton's getting hammered because they were just saying how he needed to get a spot, I think, or two spots to make it in, and he just lost a spot. And Scafey's like, he needs to be moving forward, not going backwards. And then Richie did the big bump and run on Kostecki and he shut it down, and then Anton got the run around the outside and made those two spots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think good on him for having a go, but I don't also think it was a go. I'm like,
it was a half go.
That's sort of like, Matty Payne, when you're going to have a crack, you have a fucking crack. He on Cam Waters, he'd committed to diving down the inside and Cam moved under brake and he punted him. But like still pulled it off. I think that was really well executed. That was awesome. That was like Scotty Mac spec. Yeah. And I think Brock and Chaz did an amazing job. And if you're going to, if someone moves under braking, where it's an issue is if you've committed to the pass and there's an overlap and then they move and there's an overlap, you can't get out of it. Then that's when you normally door them.
Yeah.
But when you're still behind someone and they move like maybe fucking a foot, you've still got options.
Yeah, and you've still got room to move and pivot.
And for instance, like Chaz moved way more under braking and Brock had to chase him. But I wasn't really on that one. I think JC was pretty hard done by there. I think he got screwed.
I think that's why JC, you see when you watch the guy sitting on the bonnet waiting to get picked up, he's like, what was that? Like,
what the fuck, man?
And like he would have known there was heaps of room. If he wanted to have a proper go, there was heaps of room there to get it done. But it just wasn't a proper go. And
then so unlucky when he bounced back out to get collected.
Yeah, and which grabbed, was it Richie or Golding?
Away, maybe.
One of those.
Cars, I felt bad. I'm like, oh, what a shocker. Like, it's literally like a split second later or earlier you bounce back and they miss you. So that's motorsport. But I did think it was a good race still. And that battle, like you said, the one between Brock and Chaz was amazing. And that's what the final seems to be promoting. And because they were both locked in, I don't think it really mattered if they wrecked, which was awesome.
No, which was great. But I think that's what makes it even cool because they were still willing to. They didn't have to fight hard.
Yeah, yep.
Like it would have been so easy for Brock to go, I'll bring the car home straight for the boys and I'm already in. And he was like, no, I want to win. So that was cool. Andre Heimgartner, podium.
Yeah,
that was good. He fought like hell to keep that too. And again, loved seeing that. He was like, well, I'm not in the finals, so stuff these guys. I want to grab a surfboard. I've had a shit year. That was really good. So well done, Andre. That was mega, I thought.
And he missed it by like 3 points after Brock passed him on the last lap back there. So that would have hurt that one because
and in the press conference they spoke about that.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned the Bathurst thing, but the thing for me was actually the bend is what cost him because he had contact with the wild card. Declan Fraser had contact with the wild card in his thing, and they went laps down at the bend. That's actually what.
Well, what cost him as well, though, is that his qualifying average is 18th, he said.
Yeah, the car speed hasn't been there.
Yeah.
Let's not be
Yeah.
delusional about it. But
Yeah.
I did think that the bend actually closer to it
Yeah.
cost him his real shot. But
Yeah, but it was pretty cool. I loved his interview too because he did say, I was prepared to wreck them. They're in the finals. I'm not. I'll wreck them for this podium. So that was cool. And it looked like he was emotional too. Like when you see someone like that show the emotion, you can kind of feel what they've been through the year. You know, it's not been easy. He said it felt like it was going to be the first year in a long time he'd gone without a podium.
yeah,
So that was awesome. Matty Payne, 4th. Cam Waters, 5th. Kai Allen again. That was another race. I thought Kai drove his ass off again. That impressed me more than his outright speed. Having never been to the track before,
yeah.
his speed his speed was good, but I actually reckon his racecraft was really good.
No, that's what I put that in the
cool.
notes. Like that was the difference between Thomas and Kai for me. I was like, that's what I wish how Thomas had raced Brock early in the race.
Yep.
But he didn't. Where Kai was like, I just really rate the way he's going about it. As you said, the team have done some good calls that have helped him, but he's also put himself in positions by having a crack.
Yeah, bloody oath.
And that was really fun to watch. So that was
And
awesome
he is
job.
a rookie, which
Yeah.
I forget.
People
already.
I think people are, I actually think he's probably, I mean, we're a little bit harsh sometimes on what they're like to their teammate for speed and stuff like that, but I think he's doing an amazing job. And coming into the year, we were questionable whether he deserved that seat.
Yeah.
And I think he's absolutely proven
Yeah, I agree.
everyone that he does. He's had a few podiums. He's racing hard. Like
I just realised why you're talking. Talk about him being a rookie. Matty Payne, when he was a rookie, won the Adelaide 500.
Yeah.
Won one of the races there, Sunday, I think.
so did Brock. So there's been a few over the years. Scotty McLaughlin did the same. He won a race, he's
I
rookie.
mean, in that car, he's still in it going into Sandown.
He's a chance
If
of
he snags a win at Sandown, his first one,
into 4.
he's into the 4.
Yeah. He's into the playoffs of 7 as a rook. Like,
Yeah, he could. And if he does
doing a
what
great
Matty
job.
Payne did in his first year at Adelaide, because we know the Penrite cars are quick there.
yep.
They're
quick
He
at
could be a
Sandown.
smoky. That would be insane. That would be that could be a champion as a rookie.
Imagine that as a storyline. And he's an Adelaide boy. Imagine that as a storyline.
He's a
Scott.
Mount Gambier boy.
South Australia, sorry.
We'll
not
get that
Adelaide.
right. Yeah.
And while we're just on that little tangent, they're quite good at Sandown, I think.
I think they are too, because I remember like when we won, I remember battling Garth at one point. So they were 3rd or 4th.
And I think when the year prior, when they had Kevin Estray as their cowie,
He was
he was
fast.
running up the front.
Yep.
So they've definitely had speed there in the past. So that's going to be exciting to watch going into Sandown how he goes for
Yeah.
sure.
The JC tribute. I had someone message me and goes, have they completely forgotten that Perkat's announced his retirement as well? And then when I saw that, I realised this one was just a PR stunt.
It's a boost ad.
The whole thing was a boost ad. It wasn't actually, they used his announcement and they're like, we should do a Gold Coast one because he's from the Gold Coast and or he's living on the Gold Coast. And it was literally just put him in a boost car, drift him around.
Yeah.
And then poor old Perkat, who has announced the retirement as well, gets zilch. So I did shout out to Nick for your last one. Hopefully, I mean, Adelaide will be his last one as a full-time, unless he makes a return at some point. But he said this is retirement and he's from Adelaide, so maybe there they'll get something. But I did think it was a bit average. They just forgot Nick. And Nick still won a Bathurst. Like, we're talking JC really is notable because he won a championship.
Yeah, Nick's had a great
Nick's won a
career.
championship. He's won
yeah.
7 races. So he's probably won almost as many races as JC.
He's won an Adelaide 500.
He's won Adelaide 500. He's
won
had a
Bathurst.
good career, so it should be celebrated as well, I thought.
Won a Grand Prix, I think, hasn't he? Yeah, he's done some cool shit.
He's done some cool shit.
No, like it's the perception, isn't it? Like as you
Yeah.
say, some people get overrated in the industry, some people get underrated, some people just middle of the bridge.
Yeah.
It just depends.
And good timing with Boost, I guess. They wanted to run an ad and put him in a drift car, but...
Yeah.
Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw & Partners Financial Services. Shaw & Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, if you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw & Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. What about strategies? It was good to see Brody try and do something alternate at the start with Ryan Wood, but the strategy just didn't play out for them. But I did rate that they tried to pit early. I think they pitted on lap 13. But unfortunately it didn't work for them. Do you think it was worth the punt?
I think they had to try something because, Brody's only hope to get through was to win.
Yeah.
So they absolutely had to try something, and you got to do that sort of stuff when your back's up against the wall. They had nothing to lose. So
it has. I think that the overtaking became almost looked like it was more difficult there this weekend because they switched off the beacons. Because in the past, when you've only got like 4 strikes up your sleeve, you'll actually use one up to get a run on someone and pass them down into turn 11. And it'll actually look like, because everyone could blow 11, everyone got so good at that, no one was getting a run off of the beach chicane anymore this year.
Yeah, you couldn't get an advantage because everyone was maximising already.
Yeah. So that was the only thing I'd say. So I think that's where the alternate strategy was good. That's why I'm like, high five for having a crack at that, because it did look a little bit harder to overtake. So putting your balls on the line in offsetting strategy was not a bad option.
Yeah. We should touch on, which I know was in the points for later, mate, but shout out to DJR for fixing that car.
Yeah.
I think it was toast.
It's impressive, isn't it, what they can do, what every team can do. When us drivers total your car, they all seem to be able to, and it does not matter which team. They, Team 18 did it at Bathurst. Mentioned them. They fixed it all night. They got out and made the shootout the next day.
Yeah.
Credit to all the mechanics.
So that was a big all-nighter for them. I think the windscreen was getting bolted in at like 6 a.m. I think Matty from Race Screens was doing the tear-offs for it at the track and stuff. And I think I saw Todd might have been there at like 4:30. I saw a story from him in the morning helping, and Brody was on the tools. And so that was, when shit goes south, that's when you do, the team really gets around each other and you just get shit done. But that was an amazing job by everyone there. So well done on that.
And Supercars does play ball a little bit on those things. I've had car chassis that are like the main hoop being bent and things, and they let it race because they're like, okay, look, the integrity of the chassis is still okay, but it's not straight. And there would be things on that chassis. I bet it's back on the jig this week getting fixed, or he'll be in a different chassis for Sandown.
Roll out another chassis.
Yeah, and it'll be, because there's no way, surely. I mean, maybe they did get it fixed 100%, but I would doubt that thing is straight. But that is where, they will bend some rules sometimes to let the car go because, they'll check, make sure the integrity's all right, but I doubt it would have been completely straight. Every chassis rail on that would have had...
I'm sure it wouldn't have been perfect.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as good as what it was when it rolled out the truck Thursday. That's for sure.
Exactly. What do you think of them going back to that then in practice? Because that was a big talking point. There's not really any notables from practice or we touched on qualifying, but what do you think about them sending out the car with the front bar hanging off?
Yeah, see, when it left the lane, I know it was a bit average and they'd taped and stuff, but I actually thought he might have grabbed a bundle elsewhere and it got worse across that lap. So when it actually went out initially, I thought, well, you go out and see and try. From what I could see, I didn't have a real good look because I was obviously at the track, so I probably didn't see as many angles as what those would have seen watching the telecast. But then...
It was on Friday.
Sorry. I was at work then.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's probably why I didn't see all the angles. So I saw there was tape, but I thought, maybe he'd gone and clipped a bundle and it got worse. So I didn't really have a problem with them sending the car. I thought it was more up to Brody to understand that, coming down the front straight, it was hanging on the ground. Like, you were never going to go faster. It was always going to be a risk. Yeah. So I thought it was probably more on Brody for pressing on than the team for sending it. Because they can always send you and you go halfway and lap, no, this thing's dog shit coming in or whatever.
You don't actually know when it's on the ground. I've had it break off completely.
You can't hear it or feel it?
No, not on the front straight. You wouldn't know that front splitter was touching the ground.
It was quite, from what I heard, it was quite loud.
You wouldn't know. I've had it go under the front tyres there out of the beach chicane and gone up the escape road, and you don't. You don't know until it goes under the front wheels. That's why the team would normally make the call. If a pickup point's broken or something, there's no way to send it.
Yeah, right. If you can't hear it or feel it, then...
Yeah, if it's bad...
then how would you know? So.
If it's bad enough, like the bonnet's lifting and shit, but I don't think the bonnet was still fixed fine.
Yeah.
And
it's probably just a bit of a cluster.
I don't think there you've got enough high-speed corners to feel the aero wash. Like if it's Bathurst...
Yeah, you know straight away.
You go through the grate, you'd be like, holy shit, I got so much understeer.
Thing doesn't turn.
But if it's happened at like turn 11 tyre bundle or something, then turn 13 or 14, whatever the right-hander is, say it happened there and you just went through the last corner and started the lap, you probably wouldn't know.
Yeah, so Mitty online said, dude, I was at the final turn and that thing wasn't just flapping, it was smoking. Of course someone knew.
Right.
And that's why I thought it got worse on that outlap. That when he's rolled out,
Yeah.
to me, it was like when it left, I was like, it looked.
He should. Yeah, he would
It
have
looked
known.
fairly
that if it was-
structural. I just personally think you would have felt or seen or known,
Yeah.
or the crew could have gone, mate, this thing's fucked when he's coming down the front straight. Just roll out of it
Yeah.
on the radio. So I don't know.
The difference is as well, as a driver, I would never not try.
I'm not saying don't not
No,
try.
no. I know you're not. I'm just saying, like, I thought at the moment, and that's where Addison was giving a shit, calling me soft. I'm like, mate, I never once said Brody shouldn't try. That's why you need someone that's not emotionally invested in the outcome of the result, which is the official, to say, no, that's not right. Because as soon as you're emotionally invested, all of us are in fight or flight. Your heart rate's 180, fucking adrenaline's through the roof. You're not even worried about writing the car off at that moment. You just want to go fast. To go fast, you're prepared to crash. That's just rule 101 in racing.
Yeah.
So a driver's never going to, you're going to go up to one and be like, fuck, I hope this bar sticks. I just need to do one lap. But a rational person at that moment is not emotionally invested, would look at the front bar in the pit lane and go, well, you've already set a time with a straight car. Do you think you're going to go faster with the bar hanging off and then just race taped up into position? No. You're not going to go faster. And even George said after, he goes, we probably shouldn't have sent it because realistically we were never going to go faster.
Yeah.
So anyone that says you give up in qualifying, you're a fucking idiot. It's like, no, you're not actually giving up. You're just making sure you make the race. That's what that's what someone that's not desperate in a championship would do, I think. If you've been there a million times and you're not like, fuck, this is our only shot to make the finals, that's why I said I think the finals contributed.
Yeah, because if Brody had started that race 14th as an example, he could have easily...
He'd be in the top 7.
He could have easily got his way into a potentially podium race at one, and then on Sunday potentially gone out and
100%. I don't know. And it caused a lot of work. And I think if they had have just finished, even if they finished 14th that day, Brody would have been going to Sandown anyway, still in contention.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyone that says...
that hindsight is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It was worth a discussion because it was the biggest thing that happened across the weekend.
No, I totally agree. I think maybe the finals contribute to, as you say, that little bit of desperation of, fuck, we really want to try and get this thing on pole and then win. And, did that cloud some judgment, perhaps?
Yeah. And then I actually felt bad for Brody on Sunday because I thought if the car was straight enough, I thought he could win.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, imagine if he poles it and wins it. And then when I saw that curb strike in qualifying, I was so deflated. And that was actually, that and Matty, that one mostly, was the one that annoyed me because I was like, everyone's jumping the curb so bad and Brody just got done.
There should have been no curb strikes because everyone was...
It's
like the ones that...
we were robbed.
Yeah, it's the ones that jumped them the length of an Olympic swimming pool were not getting done, and those that were more almost conservative were the ones that were getting pulled. Like that Matty Payne one, he was more conservative than everyone else and it got pinged.
Yeah, it was just that he took too much curb on the left.
Yeah.
And I didn't know till Brock told me that. I was like, well, why? No one in the public knows that. Only the drivers know that.
Yeah.
So like Brock said, he commented on our post and said all the left ones are still on. It's only the right they've turned off. So I was like, well, that seems silly because if we don't know that, as a fan, you're just like, how'd they get a curb strike when you guys are like celebrating the curb jumping?
That's the thing. It's like, and that's why I'm just such a big believer. Just turn them off, don't have them, and let the drivers and the machinery dictate how much you can take.
Yeah, bloody oath. And I just felt a bit like deflated because I was thinking, fuck, if Brody wins this race today, that is badass.
And for the story, that was, and I thought the same. I'm like, that could absolutely happen. I was like, if anyone was going to make that happen, I thought that would probably happen to someone like Brody.
Yeah, I texted RD and I was like, I reckon Brody could win today.
Yeah,
like I just was like, he's on. And then when he got the curb strike, god damn, I was disappointed for sure. But yeah, that was. Let us know in the comments. Like, that was the biggest talking point of the weekend. I thought was should that car have gone back out or not. Hindsight's always wonderful. I do want to say, as a driver, you're just always going to go. You're just like, let me have another go. Let me have another go.
If the team pushes you back, you're like, well, eyes on. So
you send it into one.
Yeah.
You are right though. If it was loud enough and smoking, maybe there is. Okay, you probably should have lifted.
Well, I mean, I could only go off what I saw on TV, and you can hear the whole way down. It looked average. I'm like,
surely he knew.
I've rooted plenty of front bars in my time, and you can generally feel when it's doing that. And I was like, oh, okay, but as you said, maybe not. Who knows? But unfortunately, it ended up in a rooted car. Not much sleep for the DJR team, and unfortunately, a couple of photographers. I think they're all good, which is great. But unfortunately, it caused a bit of damage to the wall, and some people got a little bit of injuries and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty average for everyone. So no one wants to see that. So no good.
I did put a little one in here because Brody's past champion and fucking good, but does Brody seem a little bit distracted? Is my question with everything that happened around Bathurst and then his mistakes. Because really, the front bar was toast because he wasn't precise.
Yeah, I don't know. yeah, if it's a distraction thing, but he definitely, I mean, it's only my take watching from afar, but it doesn't seem as happy. Like there's definitely seems like since Bathurst, he seemed like he had the shits at Bathurst, which he obviously does with the parity talks and everything he went on about. And, you know, if that's followed into this round, you know, does that make you push a little bit harder? And that's when mistakes start to creep in and things like that. So I think, yeah, that's the risk when you get yourself involved in all the politics and things like that. Then it take a little bit of your capacity away from doing your driving part. You're worrying about other shit that you shouldn't have to, or having conversations with people you shouldn't have to worry about, or whatever it be. Yeah, maybe.
I think playing mind games can just be a distraction anyway, and especially like you said, especially once it's public. Like people will then like we're doing right now, discuss it, and then it becomes a thing, whether it is or not. But like his podcast he did with Will, he mentioned about 888 going to 3 cars, and I know there's some mind games in there. He's trying to say, oh, it's interesting you're pretty much driving for a paying team now, because he tried to say that the SCT thing is only there because they're bringing, Jackson Walls. That's what he's trying to say. And whether that's right or not, in the lead up to a race, I'd probably just worry about and talk about it later. We have the luxury. We can talk about it all the time because I don't need to be focused going into the Gold Coast. We are, the reason I didn't do a pod, well, I wanted to do a pod while I was full time, but it'd be difficult to do it all the time because you need to focus on, like Brock Feeney is dialed in. There isn't an ounce of that kid's energy that's going anywhere other than his performance on the racetrack, whether it's data, onboard, sim work. And then so to start talking about what other teams are doing with their third license and trying to like play games with Will, talking about, you know, shit canning the team a little bit and then talking politics with parity. And then you go out on track and you don't deliver. I think that's when the conversation starts. And you go, okay, maybe you do need to rein it back in and focus.
Yeah, and it's just you open yourself up to potential criticism or... don't you? Doing it like it's brave doing it while you're still full time because you put yourself in the spotlight and potentially on the chopping block. Well, if things don't go right, because punters then take the piss out of you or whatever, or then it is just noise that can creep in.
And one thing I'd say Brock's doing really well at the moment is not talking about others. He's putting the pressure on them by performing, not trying to get in their head or like talk about things that he can't control, if that makes sense. Like he's not... The guys that have started to shine this year, apart from maybe one or two, have definitely been the guys that all they're focusing on is the car. Driving the car. So you got your Brock. I'd put Matty Payne in that as well. Ryan Wood, I would say this year's really stepped up his focus on all that stuff, and he's getting dividends when the thing doesn't break down or whatever. And then those that have got other shit in the background have started to, like Will's a prime example. He's a busy boy. He's got businesses. He's fine. He's playing. He's doing a podcast now. He's doing all this other shit and trying to race. And there are some, like Tom Ransom, you've made a really good point in here. I'll just try and find it because a bunch of comments did fly through. But some people deal with pressure differently though, Scotty. Some are like Beefean, some are like Brody, some are like you. That's what makes us human. And I actually 100% agree. But, I'm not disagreeing. I would just say that anything that like detracts from your effort on track or something like that, like Will, for instance, I think that his extracurricular, maybe now that he's got so much going on, it is playing a part, but I can speak from like my experience. I'm probably similar to Will, where when I started One Night Media, my production company, it actually helped my performance because I could switch off when I needed to. It's like people with families. Frosty always said the best was going home, seeing his family because I didn't think about racing. And Brock is definitely the kid that has to think about racing, and that's great. That I can't. I'm not like that, and Will's not like that, and I'm not. You know, that we're all different. But just talking about Brody, for instance, I just think getting caught up in political stuff,
and that's
or mind games. Like maybe trying to fuck with other people's minds does help you perform better. But I feel like you're actually trying to stop them performing, and then that seems to be affecting your own performance. Yeah,
I think we're also, if they're positive influences on you, then sure, go run your trucking business or take your kids or whatever it is, run a media company in between events. But but I would say some of the other stuff has probably not been positive and more just detracting. But
what about then? We will go into Will Brown's mistakes because you've kind of touched on it there with the extra stuff he's got going on.
I mean,
what do you think? Yeah, but taking me out of it because obviously I'm trying to not. I don't want to big up Brock either because everyone's going to think that I'm like dick riding there, going, "Oh, he's amazing." They just will. Everyone will. I just and
you pick someone other than a 888 team for goal once, you biased prick.
All right, so I wanted to ask you, like at the moment, I think it's 27-2 in qualifying. What do you think Will needs to do, and what do you think's hurting his qualifying performance? Because arguably at the Gold Coast, when he did a lap, He actually was quicker in practice 1. He was quicker in one of the quali runs he did. But then when the pressure turned up, he made mistakes. So it wasn't, it was like pace was there. But what do you think stopping him from delivering right now?
I don't know what's stopping him, but it does definitely, it has seemed like lately that the moments that are really key are when mistakes have crept in, as say like a shootout lap or a quali lap. In the racing, he was amazing on Saturday. Like the way he came from getting sent up the escape road back through, he races better than anyone. You know, when he's on, he's on.
Yeah. Like Adelaide last year was one of the best drives when he got turned or he turned Brody, I think, and got a drive through and he came back through. So, yeah,
he's a little bit like Ryan Blaney in that regard. Sometimes when he has those races and he can just come back through and he races amazing. But, for whatever reason, I mean, I've got no idea why Brock's touted him up in qual and stuff like that. I mean, only he will know that because he's probably reviewing him and Brock's data and know where the difference is. But, whether it's like the yips almost, like, you know, in those situations, or I've got no idea. But
actually, but
it does get to that point, right? Like when you can, so it's 27-2. Some point you start going, like you get frustrated. You're like, I'm doing, and he knows he can do it. He's had pole laps before. He's done it before. He's won championship last year. So, but so I don't know. He obviously doesn't know, otherwise he would have fixed it too.
Yeah.
And Triple Eight probably don't know because they would have sorted it by now. So, but it does snowball. So, you know, fingers crossed he figures out or, you know, changes something that does allow him to get back to his championship winning ways.
Yeah.
Because he's still well and truly in the fight, like he's going to Sandown. He's still in the finals.
Yeah.
If he can tune that up now, he's no reason why he can't be a champion again.
Yep. You can't change Brock's performance, right? You can't change his outcome. He'll turn up and do whatever he does.
Yeah.
And so I think at the moment it's like you can't worry about him. You have to go out there and the amount of times he tops practice 1. And it'd be interesting to analyse. Like if it was me and I used to see Noel Blundell was my sports psychologist.
Yeah.
I would want to understand why is it when I turn up and there's no expectation, no one knows the track, and we go out there and we drive just off feel, right? You've got no reference time on your dashboard. I'm P1. So what changes? What starts to affect me after that point? Because I think that when he goes out and they are all driving on natural ability and feel, he does a really good job. He's quite often P1 in practice 1. And that's kind of become a bit of a running joke that like Friday he turns up and he's P1 and then Brock qualifies on pole. But I think you just break that down, try and work out why is it, or how do I get to that feeling of, you know, feeling like that all the time, that it's just, I'm not trying to get something from it. I'm just going out and driving the race car. And then what will be at the end. You know, what result I get is what I get. But I think in qualifying, you can't overdrive. And it's so hard not to. I've done it a million times where you know, that was probably one of my weaknesses was I tried to.
You did something different when the greens come on.
Tense up a bit. So I'm not no expert, but if you qualify 3rd, 4th, 2nd, I know your teammate's still beating you, but you need to almost forget about your teammate because Brock's obviously qualifying some ridiculous 1 point something. So if you just go, okay, it was like being teammates with Max Verstappen, I imagine it's like you got to be first and he has to be second to beat him. He can't be second because he's likely to be first. So start with something achievable and then it's like on your day, you can out-qualify him. And I think he shows it when he's natural, but it's just, it's fucking hard because Brock keeps turning up every week. But you know, I don't know that it is, like we said before, we're talking about distractions and stuff. It's not one thing for everyone. Brock operates like that.
Yeah,
Will's going to be different. Brody's going to be different. But it is finding what works for you and then just trying to get back to your happy place, your happy place and just operate off instinct again and
the happy zone.
Somehow forget what's going on and what's been going on.
Yeah. And I've seen Noel in the past too, and they talk about the green zone.
Yeah.
Which is essentially your happy place like you're talking about and finding out. And everyone's different, and I'm sure Will would have gone through that stuff in his junior days and stuff, but maybe he hasn't. Maybe it's something he needs to look into. I know like Scotty Mack went and worked with that lady that helped the Richmond Footy Club, and that's when he started dominating as well. Yeah. And that was a lot around that stuff. A lot of athletes do that, right? Because, as you say, they've got that natural ability, but it's like, when the pressure comes on, do you change or do you do something differently? I think it's a big thing in the sporting world.
It is, and at this level, if you don't turn up every day, and that's, I mean, Chaz is there at the moment, but throughout the year, I think Chaz is arguably one of the fastest guys we've seen in a supercar. Yeah, but he's not there every day.
Yeah, he's so, naturally absolutely one of the best, but probably doesn't
level out your highs and your lows.
Yeah,
and I didn't mean to just like pick Chaz as a person, but there's lots of examples. But he's someone who's exceptional, and I think if he can be consistent, then he's at Brock's level. And some days on his day he's better than Brock, and on Brock's day he's better than Chaz when Chaz isn't quite there, but it's trying to make sure that your worst day, like Whincup, was so good at his worst day being fourth, you know, and that's how you win 7 championships, I imagine, is just your worst day not being that bad.
Yeah. That's right. Like a bad day for Jamie back then was like second, third.
And that's where even in quali, it's like, you know, if you think, don't always go for pole. As shit as that sounds, as negative as that sounds, you obviously drive out there as fast as you can, but just do a lap. And at the end of the lap, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, because I reckon that's what he's doing in practice 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen it, yeah. And you said about yourself, and I've even experienced that myself, you know, when the pressure's not on, it's just so much easier.
Yeah.
And you feel like you drive better sometimes or whatever, you're more relaxed, and as soon as it means something, you're like, oh.
Yeah, the pressure turns up. And I didn't want to, you know, do get accused of being biased, and Brody and Brody was in there, and I wanted to touch on Will quickly because...
Well, they both, it is strange that they both ex-champions.
Yeah.
Both have arguably got more shit going on this year than they've had in the past, and it's just, it's coincident of timing. I'm sure there's other people that are going to talk about it too. So.
Well, it's also, like for Will, it's actually no different to the performance from Cam Waters right now. Like, people aren't talking about Cam, but where's he gone since Sydney Motorsport Park this year?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like, if he had Brock as a teammate, everyone would be like, well, and the pressure on Cam would be ridiculous, but he doesn't have the teammate that's delivering every week, week in, week out. So that's the other thing you got to remind yourself. You're just in this unique situation, which for the time being, it won't last forever. Like, you can turn the tables. You did it last year. It's just shit at the moment. So you're just like, man, I'm in the worst situation because my teammate's delivering every week. No one else has that situation. Brody doesn't have it. He's, you know, his teammate's qualifying 15th every week.
Yeah, so for Cam Waters and for Brody, they're the, I guess you'd say, number ones in those teams at the moment. So, as you say, it's a completely different situation.
Totally different. They can qualify probably pretty similar to Will, but their teammates delivering and, you know, there is things you're working with your engineer, you're trying to find car speed, all those things. But like on the weekend, obviously the mistake he made in shootout was on him. Car was fast enough, but yeah, it's just finding that happy place. I'd put in there as well just one shout out to the Penrite strategy. It'll be interesting come Adelaide 500 if they've got both cars in the final 4, which could happen. How they play their strategy, because double stack risk is going to be huge. Even at Sandown now, I think it's going to be interesting how they offset their cars, and that is one luxury that Walkinshaw will have now is they've only got Chaz, so they don't need to worry about the double stack risk.
Yep. Finals.
Yeah, the top 7. You want to go through that, mate?
Let's do it. So before the round, as we rolled in, we had Brock number 1, Matty Payne number 2, Will Brown was 3rd, Cam Waters was 4th, Brody Kostecki was 5th, Chaz was 6th, Anton was 7th, Randall was 8th, Wood was 9th, and Alan was 10th. It's important to remember those where Kai was rolling into it. And then now post GC, we have Brock 1st, Chaz 2nd, Matty Payne 3rd, Waters 4th, Brown 5th, Kai Allen's now 6th, Randall 7th. You've had Anton, Ryan Wood and Brody Kostecki, they're now dropped.
Yep.
So going into Sandown, it's only that top 7.
So who's the biggest winner? Is Kyle on the biggest out of it? He's gone from 10th to 6th. Oh, actually, Chaz has gone from 6th to 2nd. That's massive.
Yeah.
Kai's, he's
So Kai and Chaz were sort of the biggest, but Kai was 10th, just scraped in, and then now he's in by, he made quite a jump, but he's also got Randall behind him as well, and that's why he was fighting so hard.
Yeah.
It really means it. So,
tell you what, Sandown is going to be one to watch because you've got Will is out at the moment. If you were to just skip ahead to the top 4, Will's 5th, so he's got to do something to get in. Obviously, they're all going there to try and win a race, so that strategy isn't anything different per car. Everyone's got the same mindset.
Yeah.
Garth put it really well. You have to just turn up and just execute all the 1%ers, take it like every other weekend, but I do reckon it's going to change because 5th, 6th and 7th are going to be doing some desperate shit to try and
you got to win on Saturday. The Saturday race, I reckon, is just at Sandown is going to be an absolute belter because if you're those guys in the 7, you can have if it doesn't pay off, you can still turn up Sunday and potentially win and get in again.
Definitely.
So, I really think like...
They do talk about the win and you're in. I almost think too much because it's not like it's easier now. Like we talk about the win and you're in. You just got, if you win, you're in. No shit. You win the championship anyway.
Yeah, if you win every race of the year,
Every race is you win, you're in. Like it's ridiculous. But I do think if you're second, you might wreck first with the risk of a penalty just because like that is what's probably changed. The win in your in, everyone has that mentality. I can tell you now, there's probably not a guy that goes to the race weekend without the mentality of I want to win.
Yeah, of course.
But the risk we can take now, or they can take, is higher. Like if it's Sunday, he's a guy who he won there last year. He's had pole the last 2 years. If he's fifth in the championship and out of it really on points and he's second in the race, man, I'd be wrecking P1, even if it was my teammate.
Oh, you'd wreck Brock for it,
Like
sure.
if Brock's in, you're going...
Yeah.
Obviously, Brock would let him pass. It's probably a bit stupid. I didn't think that far ahead, but Brock's obviously going to let him through. But if it's, you would risk taking someone out and just copping a penalty.
He would send Chaz. He would send anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what's exciting about the finals. I think you could definitely see the pressure that we talked about in the lane, teams, mistakes that were getting made. I think the pressure was on. I think starting at the Gold Coast is a nice move too because it is a high risk, high reward track, and we saw what that produced.
Yeah, yeah.
Cars got crashed, people were having a go, jumping, like it's a spectacle. So I think the finals so far has been a success. I mean, we'll reevaluate after each round and we might change our minds at Adelaide or whatever, but I think it's awesome. I think the sport needed to try something. You've said it heaps, mate. We're up against Formula One, NASCAR. Like we're up against sports streams everywhere now. So you're up against every other motorsport that's out there. So you got to try new shit. And
exactly.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, we're no longer just competing domestically. The cool thing, which when we had Brock Feeney on our podcast, he mentioned he would love Adelaide being just one 500k race, and I agreed with him at the time. Now I look at NASCAR and I do see that they're thinking about going away from the format and going back to, I think, the last part of the championship, maybe like 5 rounds or 10 rounds being your champion. But that's kind of what we've got then in saying that. So people, because we've actually got 2 races per weekend, 3 at the Adelaide 500, so 2 at Gold Coast, 2 at Sandown and 3 at, which there's a little bit more opportunity for someone to win it on points.
Yeah.
So I saw a comment that said, Brock Feeney could win the championship without winning a race. Well, yeah, that's okay. That's because he's won 14 of them or whatever already, and it gets him that opportunity. Of course, we want to see him win a race, but that's probably the strength we have over the NASCAR format, that someone that deserves it based on turning up every day and still getting the results, like Denny Hamlin has in the past, and he hasn't won it because he just didn't win the one lucky race at the end. I think our format's quite cool. I do like that coming Adelaide. Hopefully you have... I mean, I don't see anyone winning at Sandown that doesn't deserve to win a race at Sandown. Like, if you win there, it's not like the Gold Coast where one car could crash and take out 4 and then someone wins in 5th. I think Sandown's a bit more straightforward, that to win there, you've got to be at the front in the first top 3, which means you're quick enough to advance. You should advance. So Adelaide will probably have 4 cars across 3 races that if you are running 15th and you get 1 win, you're probably not going to win the championship. Like if you're 15th and Jag will win somehow, then you're not going to win. I think the guy that finishes third and second deserves to win that championship. So that's our strength as a championship, as a category. That's where I reckon they've done a good job. Yeah. We'll get a deserving winner, I reckon. And it might be Chaz, could be bloody Brock, Will, Matty Payne. I picked him ages ago. He's actually, I think he's a big threat. But you're going to get a deserving winner, I think, in this format.
Yeah. No, he said there's enough races from on the weekend through to Adelaide that the most consistent person across that, it's not as close your eyes, throw the dart and hope you hit the board like NASCAR is a little bit with their system.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I agree.
Teams format, teams championship, just before we do we'll finish with our who remembered, who forgot. Finish on the high, not for the who forgot, but for the who remembered. So teams championship is still Red Bull Ampol Racing leading the way from Penrite Racing, ahead of Monster Castrol Racing, Mobile One Truck Assist, DeWalt, which is Team 18, R&J Batteries and Shaw Racing, which is Andre and Macaulay. Then it's DJR in P7.
Yep.
P8 is MSR. P9 is Erebus and P10. Premier Racing, 11 Cool Drive, and 12 is SCT and Pizza Hut Racing. Yep. Who... I am surprised in that Shell is 7th. You think about they acquired so many staff at the end of last year. It wasn't like rebuilding a team, really. You kind of should have been plug and play. I'm surprised that they are behind BJR, Team 18. They run the risk next year of being the worst Ford team. Because there's only Blanchard Racing behind them. And I think they'll be a lot better next year with Jimmy joining, some new tech stuff they're looking at doing. I mean, next year they should be better than this year, but that's the only one for me that I would expect Premier probably to be better than.
And like I feel stupid because at the start of the year, like I was putting money on DJR.
Well, I think we were both pretty bullish on them. Picked a win for the round 2 maybe, and then round 3.
I'd said pole for round 1, and then I think round 2 win was like so we'd hope for the best.
And where do they go? Not to sound like a total pessimist, but where do they go when you're not engineering components? We've said this a few times. Like there was a couple of journos that said you'd have to be an idiot to have picked them for a win early in the season. Well, I actually still disagree. I think they should have, because you bring in everyone in, a past champion, you bring in the engineers, all the powerhouse out of Erebus that just won the teams, and you're going, okay, now do this. And they're effectively the worst Ford team. I did not.
No, I didn't see that coming.
Like, I thought they could have rolled out, and then I don't know where they go to from here. Maybe next year with the package being good, it just might make more sense, and their setup could, if they somehow get the Ford more competitive as a package, maybe their setups and that would just make more sense. I don't know. Like the operating window's small for Gen 3. Maybe their setup's not working.
Yeah.
The new tyre too.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, but it caught us off guard because I especially didn't expect that at all. As you say, good people there and good money, like good resources. So. And
then Penrite's doing a good job with a rookie.
Yep.
And a guy who's only in like his 3rd or 4th season. So, who remembered, who forgot? What you got there, mate? You want to go first, or
I can go first. So my who forgot? Sorry, Will.
Has to be different to me.
Yeah. So I haven't read yours.
Oh, good.
I'm looking at another page. So my forgot, hopefully it's not what you had down because I'm not reading that page, is my forgot's Will Brown. Sorry, mate. I'm going to go my remembered. Well, you go your forgot first. We'll go remembered together.
I've gone Brody.
Yeah, okay. The unlucky dogs. And then my remembered, I'm going to go Kai Allen, just purely based off the way he raced. Yeah, right. Well, who'd you have? Sorry, mate.
Andre Heimgartner.
Yep, that's a good one. Nice work.
Yep.
So there, who remembered, who forgot?
Yeah, I feel like this episode has been a bit of a podcast wars. I even for some reason was using the lucky dogs term that he was given.
I just feel like not everyone, but I feel like there's been a bit of people throwing some shade and salt out there. So fuck it, let's just dig in, eh?